So today we are doing YFP 101 Bootcamp, a quick way to get prepped and growing using your Freedom Project. And today we are covering getting people to live events. And this is actually extremely timely because tonight we have a live event that you can invite people to. So we can actually use this as an example. So what I will suggest is if you have a second screen, have it running and make sure you're on your dashboard, and then you can follow along with me as we're when we go live and go through the process of how to invite somebody to the event, or not necessarily even invite individually, but just share the event, promote it. Okay, so let's jump in. So let's do a quick recap of what we covered in the previous days. So day one, we did the bootcamp overview. We did what comes with your plan. We talked a little bit about the YFP story, the YFP way. We talked about what educational marketing is and the 9 core fundamentals. Yesterday, we discussed the YFP blueprint. We talked about the 4 key strategies, and we covered in depth about strategy number 1 and guiding people through funnels. So today, let's jump in here, and we're just going to briefly talk about the YFP blueprint one more time, because this is your roadmap for success. And the reason our system has been so effective for so many distributors is our simple 3-step business formula. With the YFP business blueprint, you can guide, or we can guide you and your team through an exact business building roadmap for growth. And it all starts, of course, with your vision. And your vision, it's all comprised. Notice how each step, there's 3 steps, and in each step is 3 steps. It's always 1, 2, 3. So with your vision, it's defining what your purpose is, creating your vision, and then clarifying what you're building. So it's like, what's the dream? What's the vision for the dream? And what's the actual structure? Getting clarity on what you're building. Then there's the plan. So setting up your brand, plan your activity, and define the culture of your team. What do you want your team to be known for? When people think of Susan Risbridger's team, what do you think of? When people think of Julianne's team, what do they think of? How do they feel? What's the culture around it? And then there's implement. So implement the 4 key strategies, create and maintain your 500 PV block of volume, and then teach your team to copy the process. So teach your team to teach. And that right there is where the freedom comes in, because when you're teaching others to teach, it's kind of like teaching somebody to fish, right? You don't have to be there all the time. For the first little bit, you'll be holding their hand, absolutely. But once they've got the flow down, you'll be there for support, but you don't have to be holding their hand the whole time, which gives you freedom to step back and maybe work with someone else, or maybe you've grown your team to where you want it to be, and then you're just maintaining. So that's where the freedom part comes in, is really that teaching to teach. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to spend most of our focus on. So then you're well on your way to a lifestyle of personal freedom. So where do you want to put your focus? You want to put your focus on the 4 key strategies. It's very easy to spin your wheels in this business and feel overwhelmed. I know yesterday we shared that many of us have felt that. So focusing on the 4 key strategies can help to eliminate some of that overwhelmed feeling. And the first one is guide people through your funnels. The second one is inviting people to live events. The live events are still the glue of this business. The role has changed a bit, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Then build your list and communicate. So you want to be able to stay in touch with those people that you've brought into your funnel, so that you're not, they don't come into the funnel and then disappear into the ether. We want to still have that connection with them. And that's where the building the list and communicate comes in. And then the last one is build a team and duplicate. And that's the step where it comes to teaching your people to teach. And then they're going to do the same thing with their people. And they're going to do the same thing. And on down the line it goes. The 2 most important gateways to your funnels is your business funnel, where you find new business builders, and your product funnel for finding new customers and educating existing customers. So in today's class, we're going to talk a little bit, actually a lot of it, about getting people to live events. Why even have live events, and why even invite them to them? We're going to talk about the Mothership events and how to find your registration page and how to use your event manager. So this is key strategy number 2, getting people to live events. So this is still an event-based business, and as far as I can see in the future, it will always be an event-based business to some extent. Events are the glue that connects your team together. So we help you implement the strategy by producing high-value live events several times a month, helping you get people to them and giving you a gateway to invite. So this is still an event-based business. The events are what keep you are the glue that connect your team together. So there are 4 main types of events that we at YFP can help you with. The first one is physical events. The second one is webinars. The third one is online meetings. And the fourth one is live streams. So what we want to talk about a lot is why webinars. Webinars are perfect for connecting with prospects and clients and educating them without the cost, the hassle, and the limitations that come with a live in-person event. And when I'm talking an in-person event, I'm talking a decent gathering, whether you're doing it in your home or renting a space or in someone else's home. So in the early days of the internet, webinars were used primarily at the top of the funnel as the lead generation. Whereas that's where you were getting people into your funnel. Now today, they're used more to nurture prospects through every stage of the buyer's journey. And at a time when our attention span is less than 10 seconds, I think it's like 3 to 5 seconds, it's quite ridiculous. And engaging audiences is harder than ever before. Webinars have succeeded in keeping us interested. So this is going over the viewing time. And actually, as time has progressed, the amount of time that people are engaged has actually increased, which is very fascinating, even though our attention span has decreased. So I think that's pretty cool and says a lot about webinars. So let's talk more about getting people to live events. So data shows that during live webinars, 82% of participants use the Q&A, 35% engage on social media, 24% answer polls, and 22% collaborate the group chat and respond to surveys. So it's very interactive. Here's a few reasons why webinars work. They're live and engaging, right? There's lots that you can interact with, just like we're doing. You can create dynamic event energy. There's a sense of urgency. There's audio, visual, and kinesthetic learning involved. You can create a personal connection by interacting with people, especially if you allow for a meeting format like this where the people can unmute and actually talk with you. It creates a deeper connection. You can get and give instant feedback, real-time feedback. It's much cheaper than physical events, and you can do them anywhere that you have an internet connection. You're not limited, which is phenomenal. So over 80% of marketers rate webinars as one of their top 3 marketing tactics for lead generation. And this is from Forrester Research back in 2008. And I'm pretty sure that those stats are very relevant today. I see webinar invites pop up all over the place. So what else do? They help you build your marketing lists. So smart marketers understand the value of long-term connections. And in network marketing, it's even more important, in my personal opinion. Even if someone registers but doesn't attend, they're going to be on your marketing list. They're going to be getting content from you. They're going to be getting interaction from you. You don't have to do it alone. That's the great part about these types of events. Instead of you having to go through the hassle and expense of setting up and putting on live events by yourself, you can focus on getting people to the events that we, YFP, put on for you. This is what makes YFP so unique. We don't just produce the events, but we also connect you to our marketing machine to promote the events and give you promotion materials that you don't have to design to your prospects and clients, so you get registrants and attendees. So let's review some of the events that we put on for you. So we put on 2 Mothership webinar events a month for you. Webinars are effective because every time someone registers for an event, they're added to your marketing list, and this allows you to follow up with them, deepen the connection, and invite them to future events. So here's webinars also allow you to capture leads, follow up, and convert those leads into buyers. educate your prospects and your entire team. So the first one we do is a wellness webinar. So we put on a wellness webinar at the beginning of the month, and it's designed to educate your prospects and clients on the Shaklee difference when it comes to nutrition, healthy weight, healthy home, and all other wellness topics. And previously we did have these, or before beginning of 2020, we had these events the second, but we moved them to the front so that we can coincide with whatever promotions that Shaklee has and give your people a chance to actually take advantage of them. So we moved the wellness webinars to the beginning of the month. And they are the second, well, generally the second Wednesday of every month. Then we have the wealthy webinars, and the wealthy webinars happen on the fourth Wednesday, or at the end of the month. So at the end of the month, we produce a wealthy webinar to help you attract and educate business prospects and existing builders on topics like wealth management, tax benefits, entrepreneurship. We just did one at the end of January talking about the real truth about network marketing. Just fantastic, very comprehensive information that help to nurture the relationship and deepen the connection with your prospects and customers. So to make these events even more attractive, we invite top-notch speakers like financial planners, tax professionals, and other experts. Like we've had Dr. Jamie McManus, we have Dr. Bruce Daggy quite regularly, Dr. Cheney, tonight we have Dr. Jim Scala, and others who have all spent years researching and speaking on these topics. They know them inside and out, backwards and forwards. So we're not having to, we can leverage their knowledge and their expertise. We also put on top-notch events and live stream them into our Facebook groups. So to give you more content to share, even though we put on events for you, we still encourage all leaders to put on their own small group meetings in Zoom so they stay connected with their team. So if you're a leader and you have a team of builders, even if it's only 3 or 4 of you, get together, like whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, however you want to do it, monthly, where you can keep the connection, because the more connected your team is and the more often they can touch base with you, the more stickiness that happens in the team. So how do the events fit into your marketing process? So webinars fit into multiple stages of the marketing process, from lead capture to educating your customers and builders. So you'll notice how it works with networking, attract the traffic, capture leads, which is a webinar, follow up and convert using webinars, and educate using webinars. So they're not just a one-trick pony. They do a lot when it comes to capturing leads, nurturing leads, and educating. So let's talk about how to get people to your live events. So send people to your webinar registration page using the widget on the dashboard, which is highlighted here. So if you have your dashboard open and you have a second screen, you can follow along, and we're going to go through this live too, because I do have a little extra time today before our wellness webinar, so we will go through this live. But you're going to use your widget, and then under the share button, you can copy the link. Now, when you copy the link, that means you can share it in a message, like a Facebook message. No, can you do it in Instagram on the computer? No, you can't. Sorry. LinkedIn. But any of the platforms that you use like that, mostly it's going to be Facebook and LinkedIn, even Twitter actually, right? I forget Twitter is very much desktop based as well. An email, that type of thing. You can also share it on, if you click the share to Facebook button, which we will cover, it'll open it up where you can share it directly and the link will already be in there. And all you have to do is type in your blurb, which I will show you. And if you're on Marketing Monday, hopefully you caught that with me as well, but we'll do it again. So we create you a new registration page each month with a new topic. So which means no matter what the webinar is, it's going to have the very current information that's going to be presented at the webinar. So there's the registration page for the wellness webinar, and there's registration page for the wealthy webinar. The URLs always stay the same. So that's why sometimes if you've ever posted your webinar link and you're getting the past one, is just because Facebook is still recognizing it as the other, which is why we use the debugger. Sometimes you have to run it through the debugger a couple times to get it to update. But we always use the same webinar registration link. I'll show you where to find them, so then you can save them or favorite them on your bookmarks bar. Okay, And then using your event manager, so you can use the event manager to see who is registered. And this is great for following up. And we're going to, oops, there's still little things. So we're going to go through this here in just a second. Okay, and you can see how many people have registered. And when you click on that little button, it'll show you who and give you their email addresses and everything like that. Okay, so from your dashboard. So right here, these are the widgets. And I'm going to highlight them without clicking on them. That have whatever webinar is current, and it will say whether it's a wellness webinar or a wealthy webinar. Now we do have the Leaner for Life, which ended last night, so that one will be removed if it's a special event, that type of thing. So to use, you can view the page if you want to view it. Oops, I opened it in a new window. Whoopsie, it's not what I wanted to do. Go back there. There we go. Where you can view it, and then you can favorite. Click your little favorite and bookmark that too. If you have folders, I put it underneath my YFP folder where there's my wellness webinar. I always have the link ready to go, so I don't have to log in every time to get it. Very handy to have. You can also get to it using your website quick view, so the little icon at the very top here, which I'm hoping you're seeing, and where it says webinar registration pages. So you can view each and then save them, bookmark them. It will come in extremely handy. So using that share button, again, you can copy the link or share to Facebook. And when you share it to Facebook, then I already sent mine today, but you can type in a little description and you can share it to your timeline. Please don't share it to a friend's timeline unless you have permission. You can share it in a group, preferably one that you manage. Be careful when sharing in groups because there are quite a few groups that have a very strict rule about not doing any promotion. If it's one you're allowed to, then go for it. You can share it in an event. You can even create an event around this. And then, of course, you can share it on a page you manage or share it in a private message. So if you have somebody that you know this topic is relevant to because you've talked to them about it, you could type in their name and say something like, hey, Susan, you know, I remember we talked a while ago about high blood pressure. I'm so excited. We have a fantastic doctor who's going to come and talk about it. He wrote the book on how to alleviate high blood pressure through diet. I thought you might be interested. Very simple. Or so it sounds. So you can share it right from there, which is super, super easy. Yes, I do want to leave that. So the next thing that we want to do is talk about your event manager so you can actually see. So under the marketing tab, you'll click on your event manager and you're going to come up to a page. Now, technically there's no upcoming events because the new webinar is happening today. But if you go to your past events, if you see up at the top, if you click on past events and you're going to come up to here and you're going to see every webinar that has happened that you've had a link to and you've been able to invite people to, and then you'll notice that there's a registrants and there's a number. And when you click on, I wonder if I should open a new tab, let it open up, load that way. When you click on it, it'll show you who has registered. So this is a great follow-up opportunity where you can message the person, email the person, ask them, hey, were you able to attend? I'd love to get your feedback on the information. Or, you know, if you weren't able to attend live, here's the link so that you can watch the replay. Okay. So I think that about covers it. So did everyone follow that okay? And I think, no, yes, you're right, Jeffrey. Instagram won't allow it. I couldn't remember. I've been playing on Instagram on the desktop and now I can't remember what it does. Okay, great. So does anybody have any questions about how to get your webinar links, how to share your webinar links, how to see who's been registered? So it looks like everybody seems to be following along. I'm going to assume, review that the last move. Which last move, Julianne? You can unmute and ask. Are you talking about the... well, you know, this is the first time I've seen you, you know, go around there and put those in the, up at the top there. See, I don't even know how to say it. I had a hard day today. But at any rate, I'll have to rewatch this session because, you know, you move those, the cursor so fast.
Okay, well, here, I'll just slow down. I'll
learned about the bookmarks today with the, yeah, and so, you know, it's just a bit fast for me. So
no problem.
Yeah, how to set, like I have somebody who's coming tonight. first one for Dr. Scala, and so I would like to send him a message, and you did that at the very last.
Okay, perfect. How to find them and connect with them. So, so just to do a quick, we'll do a quick little run through that because I know this is a very important step, and I want to make sure you guys get it. So it's under marketing, and then you're going to come down to your event manager, and it's going to open up to this page here. You want to make sure you go to past events, and then it'll pop up with all the past events. Now, this goes in chronological order from oldest to newest. So the newest is going to be at the bottom. And all you have to do is click on where it says, so I'll go up to the top so you can actually see, where it says registrants. You'll see the number beside it. You click on that, and it'll pop up with everybody who is registered. And you can click actually right on that person and see their contact information in your contact manager. At least I think it should.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it's not. Open a new tab. Let's try that. Give it a second. Nope, it won't. But either way, you still have their email. You have their first name. You can copy their email address and stick it in an email and pop them a note and just follow up with them that way.
So to do that, I have to go up to the envelope up there, right? By the cart, and then get in there and create an email there. Yep. Okay.
You got it. And that envelope will be connected to your branded email. So if you don't have a branded email, like for example, julie@julianne.com, you just then it'll be connected there. If you have like an Outlook or a Hotmail that you're using, then you would have to open up your Hotmail and do it that way.
No, I don't.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I'm just going to switch back my screen. So that is covering how to get people, or how you can use those links to get people to live events, whether it's you're personally inviting them via a private message, or if you're just doing a post, I shouldn't say just, or if you're doing a post that way as well, because you can promote it that way if you have a group that you want to promote it in, on your personal page, on your fan page. That's a great way to promote it as well. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to cover tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk about your lists, what they are and which ones do you have, how to get people to your list and on your list, how to attract traffic with content, personalizing your lead capture website. So thank you all so much for attending. I hope as we're going through each day that you're feeling more and more empowered to do your Shackley business online, and that some of the overwhelm is being taken away. One thing to remember, you don't have to learn how to use it all. All you really have to do is guide people to the events, guide people to your website, and the rest of it will happen because the emails go out automatically, the newsletters go out automatically, and so that takes a lot of that bulk away, okay? So just focus on getting people to the events, getting people to your websites. The rest you can learn as you go. I like to call it just jump from the cliff and we'll assemble the plane as we go. So with that, everybody, I just want to thank you so much for joining tonight.